Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Bernard. Today's violin lesson will be on interpreting the Gigue, the E major Gigue from the Bach Partita in E major. And I was just glancing over it, and this is a difficult piece to interpret. There's not a lot of suggestions from the music. We have nothing at the start, so we have to assume forte. And then there's a contrast in the second bar. I'm using the Henley edition. So in bar 8, I have a piano, and then bar 4 or 5. In bar 6, I have piano. Bar 7, forte. And then the rest of the piece has no dynamics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the piece, talk about bowings and dynamics, and then after I do that, I'll talk about fingerings, because there's a lot to interpret in this piece. It's a complicated piece. So as far as the bowings go, we start up, of course. The bowing in the original, it's okay. I wanted more. It's where I hooked and it's slurred, because I hooked the first 3/8 notes together. I had to make up for it. It's a nice phrase. To me, that kind of just lies there. It's not as interesting. So now in the second bar, I do the hooked bows versus. It's okay. That could work, but I prefer. And now back down here. Again, now we've got the original. Gets pretty dull. We're just down, up, down, up. So I did 2 slur, 4 separate. And then in bar 6, excuse me, I'm reading that wrong. Bar 4, 3 slurred. See, I'm always trying to draw the audience in for a little bit more interest. So then slur. Now 3 and 3. Now piano. Forte. And then hook. So you see the difference there would be in the original, it's all separate bows. To me, that's pretty dull. I need more interest. Maybe when I was a student, I played it like that, but now I can interpret. All right, now I'm up to bar 8. I'm going to do the hook again. Now you notice each one of those 3 bars, I hooked the first 3/8 notes together, and then I did a 2/16 slur. Okay, so I think that's much more interesting than the original bowing. Now in the next bar, this is bar 11, 2 slur. All the way through these next 2 bars, 2 and then 4. Hook. And there, I'm doing piano. Forte, piano, forte. And I gotta tell you a story about this one. It's a little bit unusual to play off the string in Bach. But as I played this piece, finishing it on the string, an old memory came back to me of a violinist, James Oliver Buswell IV. He was a popular young player, very, very fine player out of the East Coast, and he traveled, and I heard him play in San Francisco Symphony, and when I was young. And I remember then I saw a video of him playing some Bach. I think this Bach, maybe this very movement, and he was doing not only off the string, but he was actually doing like something like doing it like this. And there was some discussion and he said, well, I know it's not exactly Bach style, but I just feel it that way. And I just remember that, and so I didn't approach this piece with that idea in mind, but after I had practiced it quite a bit, I said, what would happen if in just 3 places I took the bow off the string and I liked it? I tried it and I liked it. It kind of gives just some extra little energy and life. So that's how I interpreted that one. And then let's go ahead to the second half. Same thing as I did at the beginning, the first. In this case, of course, it's 2/8 and 2/16, but it still works the same. Now here, subito piano. It's kind of unusual for Bach to do a subito piano with a crescendo, but I just feel like the line just calls for that. I'm doing 3 and 3. And you'll notice this three slurred, 3 separate. That's the same as I did in the first half, many places. So I'm drawing my audience in, being consistent to my audience. I did it in the first half. I'm doing it in the second half. Their ear gets accustomed to it. So now here we are, still same thing. Piano, forte, piano, making a crescendo, 2 slurs. All right, so there's the forte, and where's it? 3 and 3. Piano, forte, piano, forte. And of course, the last time I come through this, I'll play it up on the D string. How does that work? Get on the G string for the last ones. So that's the way the bowings seem to be consistent through the whole piece, where I'm often 2 slurred, get myself down bow, excuse me. All right, so that covers the dynamics. You notice how I made many, many contrasts. Every time there was this, then forte, same thing at the end. Be consistent. All right, so now as far as fingerings go, it's a tricky piece for fingerings. We start in first position. I use the 4 going up there to square it up. Now shift to third. Back to 4, first position, using the 4th finger D sharp. Play 4-3 open. And here in bar 4, I shift to second position to keep that all on one string. Versus depends, with these strings, that sounds pretty good in first position. On the strings I was using before, I needed to shift to second. So you have your choice there. And then after I play this, back to first with a 1-4, because I got the G sharp and then the D natural. And I like the 2-4, stick the 3 in there. Very, very consistent fingering there. Do that twice. Back at bar 7, we got the 4th finger D sharp. Always using the 4th finger D sharp there. Now here's one of my least favorite fingerings, the extension back for the A sharp, but it works here. So I play 1-2-4. Now here at the end of bar 10, do a bridge. Get that C sharp, F sharp. That's like almost a no-brainer. I mean, it's just automatic. Sometimes I'll even pick I can either bridge in the fifth, on the fifth beat, the fifth eighth, I could bridge there, or if I want to wait till the very last note, I can do that. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Yeah, I could tell when I'm doing all this action, sometimes my fingers aren't as steady as they would like to be. And if I'm not steady, I'll just reset it for the last note. So, and then for sure in bar 11, the same thing on the B to E. Right there. Play open. I decided to shift here to third position. I like that better. Could also play an open E and shift to the B. I just want strong fingers on this. Yeah, there again, it's not working as well on these strings. So if I were playing these strings and recording with these strings, I'd play the open E string at that point and then shift up. Then still staying in third. Then finding that's just a practice. You got to feel that one. There's no way to cheat that one out. You just got to go for that A sharp. We come through it. Yeah, it usually feels pretty good. And then fourth it. And I do a shift, 1-1, stay in half position, and then come back to first. All right, second half. Second half is pretty straight ahead here. First position. Catch a second finger on the E sharp. It just sets my hand well for the B natural. And that's all fine, no problem through there down to bar 24. And then I'm right in a half position. Because I didn't want to extend C sharp here and then D sharp. Yeah, just go to half position. And now to first. And then shift to third position. And I'm immediately bridging the G sharp and D sharp. See, I've also got measure 26 covered. Back to first position. Use a fourth finger. Third position. For me, I need the strength in the first finger. Back to half position. Then extension. Then I reach up for that F sharp. It's just too hard on my hand, at least, to play the F sharp B with the third finger and then try to get up to the A on the E string. So, see, that's strong. Then get the fourth finger E. And then the last time, get right to fourth position. The first time through, just stay in first position. All right, this is a quite a detailed analysis of this piece. I went fairly rapidly, of course, but you can listen to the video any number of times to pick out different little areas that you might be particularly interested in. But this is quite a difficult little piece, technically, for the left hand. Got to figure stuff out for the bow. If I did this, if I tried to do original bowings, I'd probably still have to make some adjustments because the bowings probably don't work out perfectly the way they're written. That's the way it usually works. But I just find so much more interest in the piece where there are slurs and separate, instead of all separate with just a couple of slurs. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this is helpful for you to stimulate your imagination, to give you some options if there's a fingering issue that you can't figure out, and if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer that for you. And remember, Bach needs dynamics. It's like every great composer to bring more expression. He's a great writer, especially for violin. He knew violin so well. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.